USMOL, I think that's you, Mr. Stanton. Short-term lease legal? I think that's a question. Is it legal for the park to never provide a 12-month short-term lease? Only a long-term lease or month-to-month? That's a good question,
It's a good question.
because I don't know the answer.
I'm not sure this is
Oh,
Will someone turn the switch off?
The question is it legal for the park owner to only offer a long-term lease? And we categorize long-term leases as any agreement that is in excess of 12 months. The answer is no if you're an existing homeowner. If you're an existing homeowner, it's clearly no, and 798.18 of your MRL. By the way, this is the Bible, folks. In case you didn't know, if my old friend Ron Jabor from HCD was here, he'd say, actually, this is the New Testament. And Title 25 is the Old Testament. Yeah.
and we're very excited
So-
because it took us several years. It's now in Spanish as well, so.
Indeed, yes. And
Takes a long time.
the educational organization, the 501c3 nonprofit, the GSMOL, has given birth to actually just put the frequently asked questions into Vietnamese as well.
Oh, fantastic.
So we're including it with that. But 798.18 makes it clear that if you're an existing homeowner, you must be offered a month-to-month agreement. You must be offered a 12-month agreement. You can be offered a longer term upon mutual agreement with the park owner. But the park owner must always offer you month-to-month or 12 months.
Did that answer the question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome very much. Yes,
A
yes, sir.
follow-up on it. What if they offer different terms of long-term leases with different rent increases? Say for 15 years, they will offer you maybe 3% rent increase every year, but for 5 years, they would say it would be 5% every year.
Well, that's why when you're offered a long-term lease, it really becomes a very careful business decision that you have to make. Most of the long-term leases that I see are frankly pretty horrible. And I would never, ever recommend that anybody see one. Except if you don't have rent control in your jurisdiction, rent stabilization. And if you don't have the possibility of getting rent stabilization, then you may feel, I have no other option to get certainty. Otherwise, on month to month, they can raise my rent to whatever they want on 90 days notice. But you have to make a careful balance.
Is
You
it
have
true?
to say, how long do I want the term to be to take me out of the possibility, if rent control is ever passed, that I would get it. And counterbalanced against that is, what are the annual increase amounts that they're asking for?
Yeah, from what I read in MRL, is it true that they cannot have different terms of the rent increases for the first 12 months of after you sign the
Well, what you're
lease?
referring to actually is an election under 798.17 C, as in cat. There is a very important election that residents can take advantage of, and this is what I always advise when these leases come to me for review. What you can say if you're offered a 5-year agreement, for example, you can say, I don't want the 5-year agreement, but I'll take a 1-year agreement, and the rent terms must be the same as they were offered to me in the 5-year agreement for that 12-month period. So you can actually kind of flip the cards, if you will, on the park owner a bit by saying, hey, you offered me this 5-year agreement. Probably the first year is one of the better years because they get the rent at the back end. So what you do is you say, well, I'll take the first year. And then next year, if they come back and offer you another one, you can do the same thing. They might wise up to that, though. They might say, he pulled the election on me last year, so I'm not going to do it again. But at least that would buy you 12 months where maybe something else could happen in your jurisdiction to protect you.
So what if that rental agreement, it has 15 years and it's 3%, 5 years and it's 5%, so you elect to be the 15 year and then tell them, well, you should follow the 3% that you have said.
You could elect, if you're given a choice, you could elect any of those. You could use any of the offers that are made to lock in the first year. Try it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Ma'am?